Okay, writers, so now I'm going to add some dialogue to my story. And dialogue is when characters talk, right? And remember, writers do this to let the reader know what the character's personality is like if they're nice or scary or mean. And they also add dialogue and make the characters talk to show what's happening in the story. And I'm going to try both of these. So I'm starting a new small moment. And this was actually, I was in second grade with my friend Nicole, and we were at Darien Lake, and we wanted to go see the bumper cars. Okay. And so this is how the story starts. This is what I wrote so far. My friend Nicole and I were at Darien Lake. We wanted to go on the bumper cars. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking, you know what? Instead of telling the reader that we wanted to go on the bumper cars, I wonder if I could let them hear how much we wanted to go on the bumper cars by making my characters talk. And I think I'm going to try that. So I'm going to cross this out. Because right now I want to do this one. I want to let the reader know what's happening in the story. And I want them to know that we want to go on the bumper cars. All right, and so I'm going to have one of us say, let's go on the bumper cars. And the other one's going to yell, yay! All right, so let's start. Let's go on the bumper cars. And I'm going to do an exclamation because we were super excited. Let's go on the bumper cars, said Nicole. And now I have to add my quotation marks in. And we know quotation marks are like little hugs in the air that go around what the character said. So the first thing she said is let's, and the last thing she says was cars. So I put it right there. Let's go on the bumper cars, said Nicole. And I'm going to put, yay! Yay! I yelled. And I have to put quotation marks around yay. So look at, I think that that's a stronger piece of writing already, because instead of saying we wanted to go on the bumper cars, let's go on the bumper cars, said Nicole. Yay, I yelled. Doesn't that help you get to know what's going on in the story in a more interesting way? All right, so now I'm going to go to this page here. And this is the part of the story. So Nicole is a friend of mine, and I don't know if you have any friends like this. This is a kind of a friend who used to like to get other people in trouble. I don't know, do you have like a friend like that? Or maybe a brother or sister or a cousin like that? Well, I did, and her name was Nicole. So here's what happened is that when we were in line for the bumper cars, she said to me, you know, you don't have to wear your seatbelt on the bumper cars. And I was like, really? And she said, oh no, unless you're a baby. And see, I remember her saying that, and even that would let the reader know that what her personality is like. This one right here, it would let the reader know she wasn't very nice. So I think I'm going to add that dialogue in here. So here I go. You know, you don't really, and I think I'm going to put really in like big letters because that's how she said it. You don't really have to wear your seatbelts on the bumper cars, said Nicole. And I'm going to put my quotation marks around it. They start at the beginning here. And the last thing that came out of her mouth was, oh, I forgot I said bumpers, on the bumpers. Oh, that's funny. So you know what? I'm just going to put a little caret and write cars. See, we all make mistakes. That's what erasers are for. And that's the last thing that she said. So I'm going to put quotation marks against that. And then I remember feeling like I wasn't sure about them. So I asked, are you sure? And that's a question. So I'm going to add a question mark, and I have to put quotation marks around what I said, which was, are you sure? And then the first letter in a quote always starts with a capital, and I separate it with a comma. I asked, are you sure? And then she replied, no, unless you're a baby. Okay. She replied, no, unless you're a baby. And I have to put quotes around it. She said, first thing she said was, no, I need to make that a capital. Capital N. No, unless you're a baby. And put quotes after that. And there we go. Now look at this. Let's reread it and see if that worked. You know, you don't really have to wear your seatbelt on the bumper cars, said Nicole. I asked, are you sure? She replied, no, unless you're a baby. Okay, I think this really added to it. And look what I did. I unfroze these characters. I made them talk. Okay, now it's your turn, writers. No matter how you're doing this, you may be having a story on Seesaw and looking through a draft, or you may have it in a notebook, or you may have it on paper. Whatever way you have it is good. If you're writing a new story, I want you to think about adding dialogue to unfreeze the characters and make them talk. Or you could go back into a draft that you already did and go back in there and add in some dialogue, because that's one way to really make your writing stand out.